As twilight descends and the clamor of the day begins to wane, a different kind of quiet settles upon the world. For many, this is an invitation to distraction, to numb the mind with fleeting pleasures or endless noise. But for the Stoic, the evening is a sacred threshold, a moment not for escape, but for profound encounter. It is the time when the soul, having navigated the tempest of external events, turns inward. This is the hour of the evening review, a practice not of self-condemnation, but of rigorous, compassionate introspection. A final, essential act before the quiet surrender of sleep. It is here, in the stillness, that we forge wisdom from the raw material of our lived experience. What evil have you cured today? What vice have you resisted? In what respect are you better? So asks Seneca, a man who understood the profound power of self-scrutiny, urging us in his Letters from a Stoic to transform the twilight hours into a daily tribunal. This is not a court of harsh judgment, but a meticulous examination, a rigorous process of accountability to the highest authority, ourselves. Like a seasoned craftsman inspecting his day's work, we are called to dissect our actions, our words, our very thoughts. Did we act with justice in our dealings? Did we speak with truth even when silence was easier? Did we meet provocations with equanimity, or did we allow ourselves to be swept away by the currents of unreason, forgetting the foundational Stoic principle that what is external cannot truly harm our inner citadel? This daily audit is crucial, for without it, days bleed into weeks and months into years, a continuous unexamined stream where lessons remain unlearned and patterns of folly persist unchallenged. To review is to reclaim agency, to step back from the immediacy of experience and distill its essential truths, preparing the soul not just for tomorrow's challenges, but for the profound work of self-mastery. It is the crucible where self-awareness is forged, brick by contemplative brick. The evening review is not merely an accounting of successes, it is, more profoundly, an unflinching gaze into our missteps. Where did our impulses lead us astray? Where did anger, fear, or resentment gain purchase, eroding our inner tranquility and prompting reactions we now regret? Epictetus, in his Discourses, reminds us repeatedly that our impressions, our judgments about external events, are the true source of our distress, not the events themselves. It is not the things themselves that disturb men, he asserts, but their judgments about these things. Did we blame circumstances or others for our discomfort, forgetting what truly lies within our control? Did we chase after things indifferent, wealth, reputation, pleasure, mistaking them for genuine goods, only to find ourselves agitated or disappointed? This is the moment to identify those insidious mental habits, those subtle twists of perception that lead to unvirtuous action. It is the surgeon's precise incision, not to cause pain, but to expose and ultimately heal. We acknowledge the wound, not to wallow in self-pity, but to understand its nature, to trace its origin back to a faulty judgment, a moment when our reason faltered. Only by seeing clearly where we erred can we begin the work of correction, strengthening our resolve to choose differently when faced with similar circumstances again, making our inner fortress more impregnable. Yet the Stoic evening review is not solely a catalogue of errors. It is also an inventory of gratitude, a recognition of where our actions aligned with virtue, and where the universe, indifferent as it may be, unfolded in a manner that allowed us to practice goodness. Marcus Aurelius, writing to himself in Meditations, often acknowledged the gifts of the day, the opportunities to exercise patience, courage, or kindness. What did we do well? What challenges did we meet with grace? Did we offer help without expectation, or listen with genuine empathy? This is not self-congratulation, but a conscious reinforcement of virtuous patterns. By recalling these moments, we cultivate a sense of inner strength and affirm our capacity for good. It reminds us that even amidst chaos, we retain the power to choose how we respond, and often we respond well. This balance, the honest assessment of our failures alongside the quiet acknowledgement of our successes, is what makes the Stoic review a holistic practice, grounding us in reality while inspiring us towards our ideal self. It is the recognition that even a difficult day contains seeds of progress, a chance to align ourselves with our highest nature. The evening review is not merely retrospective, It is profoundly prospective. Having examined the terrain of the day, having identified the pitfalls and the paths of least resistance, we then turn our gaze toward the dawn. What specific challenges might tomorrow bring? How can we better prepare our minds to meet them with stoic resolve? This is the act of premeditatio, the premeditation of evils, not to invite dread, but to inoculate ourselves against surprise and ensure that our responses are reasoned, not reactive. If we anticipate a difficult conversation, we rehearse our calm demeanor. If we foresee a potential source of frustration, we affirm our commitment to accept what is beyond our control. Seneca advised against being too much concerned about the future. But the Stoic preparation is not concern in the anxious sense, but a rational alignment of our intentions with what is virtuous. Creating a mental blueprint for optimal living, it is the architect of the soul, designing the edifice of tomorrow's character today, ensuring we meet fortune not with shock, but with an unshakable inner preparedness. The path of virtue is not a series of grand, dramatic leaps, but a continuous, often imperceptible refinement. When we review our day, we may not always see monumental change. There might be recurring patterns, familiar frustrations, and the same old temptations that tripped us yesterday. And this, Marcus reminds us, is perfectly human. Progress in Stoicism is like the growth of a tree, slow, rooted, and enduring. You don't see it growing millimeter by millimeter, but over time its stature is undeniable. The evening review is where we chart this subtle internal growth. Did we pause for a fraction of a second longer before reacting? Did we choose a slightly gentler word? Did we tolerate an annoyance with a marginally greater degree of acceptance? These seemingly small victories are the true indicators of our philosophical journey. They are the quiet evidence that reason is gaining ground against impulse, that character is being forged, one thoughtful choice at a time. Do not despair if the transformation isn't immediate or visible to others. The soul knows its own quiet victories, and it is in these small, consistent efforts that true mastery is born. A crucial dimension of the Stoic evening review is the discerning eye we cast upon our actions versus their outcomes. We are constantly reminded by Epictetus that while our intentions and efforts are entirely within our control, the results of those efforts often are not. Did we strive to be a good friend, a diligent worker, a compassionate citizen? That is our domain. Whether the friend reciprocated, the work was lauded, or the gesture appreciated, lies outside it. To attach our self-worth or our sense of success to external outcomes is to surrender our tranquility to the caprices of fortune. The review, therefore, focuses intensely on the purity of our efforts, the integrity of our choices, and the alignment of our will with virtue. We ask, did I do my part to the best of my ability, consistent with reason? If the answer is yes, then regardless of the applause or the criticism, the financial gain or loss, the Stoic finds satisfaction. This detachment is not apathy, it is the ultimate freedom, anchoring our peace in what is truly ours, our character, our inner resolve, and our virtuous intentions. It is vital to approach this nightly examination not with the harsh whip of a self-flagellator, but with the gentle guiding hand of a wise mentor. Seneca, though often stern in his admonishments against vice, always framed the purpose of philosophy as healing and improvement, not condemnation. The aim is not to drown in regret or to fuel self-loathing, but to observe, to understand, and to learn. We are not perfect beings, nor are we expected to be. The Stoic path is one of continuous striving, a perpetual ascent towards an ideal that may never be fully reached in this lifetime. The evening review is an exercise in self-compassion, not indulgence, but a recognition of our shared humanity, our inherent fallibility. We acknowledge our mistakes without judgment, treating them as data points for future betterment. This gentle scrutiny allows us to embrace the process of becoming, fostering resilience and a quiet determination rather than despair. We are, after all, students of life, and every day offers a new lesson, particularly in the quiet of the night, where self-acceptance provides the fertile ground for genuine growth. With each passing evening, as we meticulously review the tapestry of our day, we are not merely correcting individual threads, we are consolidating wisdom itself. This consistent practice, like the daily sharpening of a blade, hones our faculty of reason, strengthens our moral fiber, and deepens our understanding of ourselves and the world. Marcus Aurelius understood that true philosophy is not abstract theory, but lived experience, forged in the daily crucible of choice and consequence. The insights gleaned from 1,000 evening reviews accumulate, forming a robust inner guide, a silent mentor that increasingly informs our spontaneous reactions, making virtue less of a struggle and more of a natural inclination. The lessons cease to be external precepts and become internalized truths, transforming our character from the inside out. This is the profound alchemy of consistent practice, turning the transient moments of a single day into the enduring gold of wisdom, building an inner resilience that no external storm can truly shake. As the final embers of the day fade into the cool embrace of night, we are left not with exhaustion, but with clarity. The Stoic evening review is more than a routine. It is a profound act of self-care, a conscious commitment to the architecture of our soul. It allows us to shed the day's debris, to learn its lessons, and to lay the groundwork for a more virtuous tomorrow. This practice is a silent covenant we make with ourselves, a promise to cultivate wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, not just in theory, but in the gritty reality of our everyday lives. It is the nightly return to our inner sanctuary, where we affirm our sovereignty over our judgments and our responses. And as we finally close our eyes, having faced our successes and our shortcomings with honest eyes, we can surrender to sleep not in ignorance, but in the quiet confidence that we have done the day's true work, the work of becoming a better human being. The night may be dark, but within a steady light of self-awareness now burns, inextinguishable, guiding us towards the dawn of a new, more wisely lived day.